Marc out of Regina gets us going against one of the rookies, Marc VanDale from Winnipeg. And VanDale, you can see, he's off to a terrific start with a strike spare. And Kevin Clark now coming off his open in the second.
Turned his back on that one early, but he got a big break. Leaves himself a left side chop off.
Kevin, who is a purchasing manager for Janitor's Warehouse in Regina.
Ouch. Gets a break and then gives it back by punching the 3-pin on the second ball. A little bit of a tough start for Kevin now. 2 open frames in a row here.
And he had trouble with that left corner in the second. Still has trouble with it. Back-to-back 13s for our defending champion. And as we say, a rookie joining us, Marc VanDale, bowls at the Dakota Lanes in Winnipeg. He's a painter for Thor Painting. Wow. But there again, there's the difference. I mean, you know, Kevin's game, when you saw it, a little more subtle. A little softer, if I can describe it that way, compared to Marc.
Is a little bit, but still, you watch Marc's approach. He's very smooth, very controlled to the foul line. He's got a great arm swing. He really doesn't put a lot on it. He's taking it off the arm swing. That's where he generates the speed. Ripped this one into the left-hand pocket. 3-pin into that flat gutter. And stayed right there.
So a mark in every frame so far for Marc VanDale. And he's already managed to build up a 36-point lead through 3 as Kevin Clark steps up for the 4th frame.
Talked about accuracy. You got to hit the middle, but spares are absolutely critical.
Better for him. You know, he was a little bit of a surprise. He'd been to the championship in 06, won $250, lost in the preliminary, and then last year just totally took us by surprise, winning the championship.
Well, we've always known him as very, very talented. Like I say, he bowls in a lot of big money tournaments, C5 experience.
Last year, as well as the Canadian men's 5-pin championship, he won a gold medal playing in the Nationals, part of the Saskatchewan team.
That's correct. That was 2007 men's team gold.
It was quite the year for Regina's Kevin Clark.
That's the strike ball he wanted.
And we'll point out again, because it is different. Bill, this isn't tournament play. This isn't a chance to get it back in the next game or 2 games from now. It's all about right now. And so another open frame for Kevin Clark.
It's get off to a good start. If you're, making a little bit of an error or you're in the wrong location on the lane, it's about making very quick adjustments, not missing spares. Now there you can see a little bit of how hard Marc VanDale throws the ball. He punches this head pin straight back, and it comes back onto the pin deck, and he almost gets a break. Drives it straight back off the cushion.
Takes out the left side, so this will be his first open after the 4 marks.
Counts 12 on that head pin, and first open in 5 for Marc.
And again, as we saw in women's play, if you're Kevin Clark, You're glad to see that. You know, Kevin needed Marc's string to be snapped, and that's what happened in 5. Oh, man, he looked like he was all over that head pin.
That's the turn he gets on the ball. So even though it looks like it's right flush on the nose, because of the spin he's got on it, and it's still sliding because of the speed, just exploded the pocket.
So more pressure on the defending champion as he tickles the head pin and counts just 5 with his first.
A little bit more time on the approach that time for Kevin. Just about got it there. That backup didn't really start to move. Again, speed related.
Third arrow.
That's the good angle to the pocket that we saw Kevin use last year. That's a start. He's still in this game. Kevin with a possible 294. Needs one here in the 7th to get started on a string. There it is. Great shot.
So just his second strike of the game, and it comes here in the 7th. Building a little bit of pin count off the coming off the spare, so he sits at 114 through 6 strikeout. And now Marc VanDale with a strike up in 6.
Marc taking the oil off the bowling ball. Make sure his grip is really solid. Wow. He is really lined up. No mistakes so far. 7 frames, 3 strikes, 2 corner pins he spared. Just the 1 head pin in the 5th. Drop that one. You could hear it hit the foul line. First 7 frames he's been getting the ball out on the lane.
So we've got Kevin Clark with the strike up in 7, and Marc VanDale out of Winnipeg. His father is a part owner of the Dakota Bowl, and that's how he got into it, and you see that quite often. And one of the other things about Marc is that, and I've heard this about skiers, for example, especially slalom skiers who have to go through the gates. They sing to themselves, and they'll quite often use a song that's good for rhythm. He does the same thing on his approach. He'll be humming a song that he particularly likes.
And again, for bowlers, it's about rhythm as well. It's about the speed on the approach. If you get quick feet, it can throw you off a lot. I want to make sure they maintain that nice, smooth approach, measured timing, because the timing at the foul line is critical when they release the ball.
But the open frame in the 8th brings VanDale to 197, and our defending champion steps up in 8 with a strike up in the 7th and a chance to close a little bit here, but he needs to get it going and in a hurry.
Oh, set that one down early on the lane. He got a huge break.
Wow. Wow. Look at this thing skate. Wow.
Yeah. Head pin went straight back. Just about got a break off that string of the 3-pin. A break, but not as much as he hoped for. Big 9th frame now for Kevin Clark. Strike here. Put him within 23 of Marc VanDale.
Crossed over.
Right hand pocket, and because of the angle that he's playing, he just drove that head pin almost straight back. Bowling ball took out the other side.
So it's been a tough start for Kevin Clark, and you can see he opens up with a spare, but then the opens. No consistency, and we've said you have to build something. You need some strikes. So he gets the strike, then he has an open in 5. Now he's got something going, but again, you know, he needs to build some pin count. By comparison, our rookie, Marc VanDale, what a great start for him. 4 marks, he has an open, 2 more marks before another open. So he's certainly had the more consistent game.
Well, really, the big thing for Kevin was frames 2 and 3 when he missed spares on a left corner pin and a chop off. Now here again in the 9th, a chop off where he punches the 3 pin straight back. So 3 frames, should have had spares, could have had spares. That's really the difference in this match.
So he manages to get the 15 and 9, but then again, here's what Bill's saying. You've got a spare strike spare for Clark, something going, and an open. Kills it. Just stops you dead. So 184 through 9 for Kevin Clark. And our defending champion in a heap of trouble.
Kevin with a possible 229. Marc sitting with 197.
Want to welcome McKinley Doyle to Calgary. Here to cheer on Marc VanDale.
Ouch. Chop-offs have been a problem for both our players. That's 0 for 2 for Kevin Clark and now 0 for 1 for Marc VanDale.
So back-to-back opens. He gets all the wood, though. Scores his 15 to sit at 212.
Marc must have a mark in the 10th frame. Has to have a spare and a 5 count to win this match.
That's a good mark.
And a great shot again. Just a whole bunch of rotation on the ball to break up a possible split. Now just keep it on the lane. Or get another strike.
So Marc VanDale looking very impressive. And he eliminates our defending champion, Kevin Clark. Winnipeg's Marc VanDale will move on, and he'll go to the quarterfinals. Kevin Clark will finish up. Where were you when I needed you? He's saying now he'll take home $250 as the loser here in the preliminaries. Happens too often, doesn't it? We see it just when the pressure's off.
Now you're a little more relaxed. It changes the way you grip the ball and release it.
At 219 for our defending champion, Kevin Clark of Regina. But he was really never able to get things going. Marc VanDale from Winnipeg holds a 255. And he's moving on in men's 5-pin play, the Canadian Bowling Championships. Our second preliminary on this opening week of men's 5-pin play features Dave Gourley from Cranbrook, who made it to the semifinals a year ago, winning $2,000. Lance Burrows out of Brampton, and both bowlers here in the third with strikes up in the second.
Snuck that one into the left-hand pocket thin, leaves himself the right corner pin. Dave with a very smooth, short 3-step approach, virtually no slide. He's actually planting his foot. Better control in some cases by doing that. Great arm swing, straight back, straight through.
And a good start for Gourley with the marks through the first 3. Burrows making his first appearance on TSN out of the Brampton and Georgetown Bowls.
Right side thick. Again, rotation on the ball broke up what could have been a possible split. Bowling ball gets deflected just a little bit off to the right. Knew that was close. Run it out. Right on the nose, leaves a head pin split. Try and go after this spare, hit the 3-pin on the inside thin and try and move it across.
So after the 2 strikes, the open frame in 4 for Lance Burrows leaves him at 91. Dave Gourley has marks in the first 3 with a spare up in the third.
He'll take that one. That's not the pocket he likes to hit with that hook he throws. But again, really smooth approach, gets it out on the lane. Bowling ball deflected and took out the left corner pin. Second time he's missed the middle, both of them coming on the left-hand lane. And that can be a little danger if he slows the ball down the least little bit. It'll take off on him to the left. Both times now missing the head pin on the left.
Nice recovery for Gourley as he picks up the spare, so Marc's right through. And pressure immediately on Lance Burrows with the open in 4. That'll work.
Great answer. Third strike in 5 frames for Lance Burrows. Big, tall guy, but he gets down to the foul line very smooth. No sound. Good release. Crossed over and got a big break, just leaving that right corner pin.
Lance, who is the manager of the beer store, and that little stubby just skated by that corner.
Hung his head early on that one, missed the mark. Ball was into the channel about the 40-foot mark.
Nicely done to get it all, but again, there's the lack of any consistency there. You know, a couple open, strike, another open.
And now he's in a bit of a hole. Dave Gourley going to play here in the 6th and 7th frame with a chance to add to his lead.
Look really full. Dave's wife Sarah is here, and we welcome her to Calgary.
And good break on that thick hit, but again, rotation breaks it up. Second right corner of the match for Dave Gourley. And right dead solid on it.
Dave is an armored car guard for B&L Security Patrol. Beautiful town of Cranbrook.
No, pulled it again. Third time he's missed the head pin. All 3 on the left. And all 3 times on the left-hand lane. But he's been successful in making the spares. Hasn't had an open frame so far in this game.
Another key, he says, is he Now, doing it is another thing, of course, but he really always tries to keep the pressure on, and that doesn't matter from what point of the game. He says, I want to get off to a good start. I want my opponent to know he's going to be in a game. It's not always going to work that way, of course.
No, absolutely never let up. You don't know when a head pin will get in your way and your opponent will run a couple of strikes. A game can change pretty quickly. Lance Burrows now with a chance to get back in this match with the open frame in 7 from David Gourley.
His first. That's away now, so there's an opening for him, and Lance Burrows responds with a strike. Now, can he put something together here, or is he destined to have another open frame? That's been his problem.
Hang on. Big break. Left hand pocket thick and carries it. Double now. He's back in this match. Ouch. Well,
see how it turns? It's really quite something. He doesn't have a mark. He has marks all the way through. 7, he has the open of 15. Now he punches a head pin. And Burrows has just put back-to-back strikes on the board.
well, and you know, when your opponent puts a double up against you and gets back in the match, it maybe changes a little bit the way you throw the ball, the way you grip it. You're trying a little harder. The result is a punch. I'm just going to have to count 15 and forget this frame. Go back to the great shots he threw earlier in this match.
And he'll score just the 12 for a 195, but back-to-back opens for Gourley. The veteran, when you think about it, you know, 4th appearance on TSN. We've already had the first-timer, Marc VanDale, take care of and eliminate the defending champion. Could we have 2 rookies winning on this opening week?
Wow, great shot. Right hand pocket, thick, the turn on the ball, breaking it up. Out on the lane, knew it as soon as it left its hand. It's exactly where he wanted to throw it on the lane.
Just a little wide. Welcome Lance's wife, Tori, to Calgary. Not playing, but nervous as if she was.
Spare here for Lance will give him the lead in the match by 4 pins.
So it is Burrows leading by 4 pins through 8. Burrows with a spare up, Gourley with a strike up, and he's wide right again.
Boy, and that's a huge mistake. You know, you're in this situation now. You got a spare working. It's first ball count. You've got to hit the middle and increase your count. Dave Gourley's behind by 4, but he's got a strike up. So he'll count the first 2.
Burrows in his final ball, and he'll count the 13 for a 247 for Lance Burrows. Better than his league average of 243. First time on TV. Nice to do that.
Dave Gourley now, he must have at least a spare and better than a 5 count to win the match. Oh, great shot. Under pressure when he needed it. That's a huge double to win the match. Crosses over a little bit, left hand pocket. 2 great balls here in the 9th and this first one in the 10th.
And that'll do it for Dave Gourley. Survives the 2 open frames in 7 and 8. And he'll take out Lance Burrows here in this second preliminary on the opening week of men's 5-pin play.
And that's the experience. He got lined up early, made some great shots. 2 early strikes in this match, and then a little bit of a stumble, but 4 in a row to finish for a 285.
Dave Gourley, who won a couple of $1,000 last year, making it through to the semifinals, takes the first step in this year's Canadian Men's 5-Pin Championship. And our quarterfinal will feature last year's semifinalist Dave Gourley from Cranbrook, BC, against Winnipeg's Marc VanDale. Gourley to throw first by virtue of his 285 to Marc VanDale's 255.
6 strikes in that first match, but the big thing was 4 in a row to finish, to win it going away.
Early pressure is what Dave's all about, and he puts it on Marc right away with the strike in 1.
Marc as well, 6 strikes in the first game. 11 for 12 on the head pin, though. Really consistent, hitting the middle, and because of that speed, getting great pin reaction. Pretty solid on picking his spares. He was 2 for 2 on right corners in the first match.
Again, just everything explodes, but that right corner's being stubborn.
2 right corners in a row, both right-hand pocket hits. Ooh. Just got a piece of that corner pin, but
back-to-back to open up for Dave Gourley.
Boy, talk about being lined up now.
Our first semi-finalist will be either Dave Gourley of Cranbrook or Marc VanDale of Winnipeg. Our quarterfinal on this opening week of men's 5-pin play, and Gourley has it going. 2 strikes up.
Little stumble there at the foul line, looked like, and he yanked that one left. Dave did that a couple of times. In the first match, missed the head pin 3 times. Every one of them on this left-hand lane. Every one of them he missed left, but made 2 out of the 3 of those misses, and converts this one for a spare to keep the game clean.
Marc VanDale in his rookie appearance here on TSN, very impressive with his 255 and eliminating the defending champion Kevin Clark, and he has 2 spares up. Oh boy, he got a great action on that left-hand side.
Anytime he gets near the head pin, he's got a chance for a strike. The ball is exploding in the pocket. Sent 2 pins at that left-hand corner pin on that thin right pocket hit. That's only his 2nd miss so far in a game and a half. Missed the spare last time this happened. Actually punched the head pin on the second ball. Ouch.
Marc didn't bowl for several years, spending time out west and enjoying the snowboarding life. An open here in the fourth.
David Gourley now with a chance to take an early lead in this match. Give it right back. Now you got to count up the pins. Make sure you stay in this. That's his second head pin in so far a game in 4 frames.
So both bowlers playing a little bit of a giveaway here as they both have opens in the fourth. And it is just a 3-pin lead for Dave Gourley through 4.
Better. Got that one out on the lane. Right hand pocket. Ball turning into it and just blew up the pocket. Great approach. Smooth, controlled, great release and reaction. Good comeback after punching a head pin in the 4th frame.
Wow.
Just explodes in the pocket. And that, again, good comeback from Marc. 2 strikes wrapped around that open frame in the 4th.
That's back to back. The loser of this game will take home $1,000. The winner becomes our first semifinalist with a chance to play for the $10,000 first prize money. You'll see that on week 5 of men's 5-pin play.
Set that one down a little bit early. You could actually hear the ball hit the lane. For Dave, for the ball to react properly, he's got to get it out on the lane surface. As soon as it hits early, it takes some of the spin off of it. Look out. That ball hooked away from that left 3-pin. Second open frame of the match. One head pin in the 4th, and now the chop off here in the 6th that he failed to spare.
So he manages to get his 15 count. And so Gourley is 139 through 6. But look at Marc VanDale. He has 2 strikes up.
Back to the strike. Good shot. Again, the sign of a veteran. Come back after a tough break, get the chop off and miss the spare.
Right. But
then to come back and make a great shot like this, right back in the match.
We want to thank all the gentlemen of Bowl Canada, the executives, including President Bob Randall. He's second from the left, and always their hospitality. And Bowling Championships. So a 2-strike string comes to an end with the 15 count, 169 through 7 now for Marc VanDale.
A match back virtually dead even.
And he gets it going again. You know what? Give him credit. First time here for Marc VanDale. Has these little, stubs his toe a little bit, but bang, comes right back.
Well, a sign of a player who's been well taught, well schooled. Ouch. Right on the nose.
And that's our first aces of this year's competition. We never saw anything in women's play.
No, not at all. This one, David's trying to get the ball to the right so it comes back to that right-hand pocket. He just pulled it just a little bit inside, right on the nose. Wow, gave it a try. Hit that left corner pin thin, trying to take it off the back wall. Almost impossible spare to make, although we've seen it before.
Nice job by Dave Gourley to get his 15, but he just hasn't been as consistent as he was in his preliminary with Lance Burrows. An open, a strike, an open, a strike, and then of course the aces to sit at 182 through 8.
Head pin and a set of aces interrupted, but right now advantage VanDale. Wow, he knew that one right off the bat. 2 in a row that he's pulled just a little inside, punched the head pin. Quick glance at the scoreboard. Picks up the 5 here and strikes out. He's got a possible 242. Marc VanDale will have a look at that scoreboard as well and know exactly what he needs to shut this match up. Just tug that one a little bit right. Must have spare if he's going to keep this match on his terms.
There it is.
Great shot on the inside. First ball's absolutely critical. Needs a good count and something spareable.
How's that?
That's a great start. Left pocket. Must have the spare.
A spare would close out Dave Gourley.
Look out. He is still alive. Now the pressure's going to be squarely on Dave Gourley's shoulders. We've got a possible tie.
Wow. So it's a 242 count for Marc VanDale. So Dave Gourley needs to do what to force the tie?
Has to have 3 in a row. Dave Gourley with 197 through 9, 3 in a row would give him 242. If there is a tie, it'll be a 3-frame roll-off.
Dave Gourley with the TSN on his equipment.
We've seen it before. He finished last game with 4 in a row to win the match. 3 in a row here to tie. We've had one previous tie in TSN. Gene Zebarth and Santo Chiodo tied back in 2005-06. Went to a 3-frame roll-off.
Got another one?
Yes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Veteran player again. Knows exactly what he needs. He's made 2 great shots.
To strike, to force the roll off.
No.
He won't get it.
Right.
Marc VanDale survives with a 242 to a 235 for Dave Gourley. Marc VanDale in his first appearance on TSN. Yep, sweats it out. And he becomes our first semifinal.